From October 26th to October 28th, 2011, the transport sector will carry out the Joint Transport Sector Review under the theme Towards Effective Sector Performance and Accountability. The review will provide all key stakeholders, both in and outside the transport sector, with opportunity to identify the key issues affecting the sector and to put forward the key strategies for improving performance.
The performance of the sector, of course, we want to see that the roads get better all over the country, including Kampala. We want also to focus on the railway, the water system, the water transport also to be looked at. We have the axle load control, which is very important, a thing which even our development partners talk about. We have the Duka roads. These are district, urban and community access roads. Those are very, very important to us. And then there are those projects we are handling now. We want them to see that they are handled well, so that there is value for money.
The road network is the backbone of the transport system in the country, and the subsector absorbed about 90% of the transport sector budget for the financial year 2010-2011, and about 15% of the total government budget.
We have some ongoing projects, like the Kabale Kisoro, Nagana, we have the Fort Porto, Bundibujo, Lamia, and many others. And there are those which we are going to start, like the Kampala and Entebbe Road. We are also about to, in a few months, we shall be starting the Vura Arua Orabi. We have the Gura Tiak, and the others where we are still on the design stage, like the Ginger Bridge. Those are projects which we are really focusing on.
It is thus important that the network is maintained in a condition that allows for efficient movement of goods and passengers and ensures preservation of past and future road investments.
UNRA is a result of reforms that were made in the road sector to separate macro planning, monitoring and regulation, which is being done by the Ministry of Works, from execution, involving design and construction and maintenance, which is what is being done by UNRA. This is our mandate, and we execute it to support the national economy.
We have national roads, 21,000 kilometers. We have what is popularly known as the Duka network, district urban community access roads, nearly 50 to 60,000 in total. So the road fund finances their maintenance, and the principal source of funding for that finance are the road user charges.
Given the size of the road subsector, it is also important that the cost of transport by road remains competitive.
The periodic maintenance involves works that we do normally after a period of about 5 years on a road. These are a bit major. For paved roads, for tarmac roads, in simple language, it involves resealing, putting a surface to it. The road is still strong, but there are cracks on the surface that could easily develop to potholes. So we seal it, and we seal for the entire length of the road to arrest that pothole which is developing. And then for maram roads, it involves graveling, pouring maram for the entire length of the road.
Overloading on the national road network continues, thereby resulting in deterioration of the network and the additional financial burden due to the need to repair and rehabilitate damaged roads. Last year, nearly 170,000 trucks were weighed at the 5 major static weighbridge locations. Of these vehicles, 54% were found to be overloaded in some form. Compliance with axle load regulations is dependent on efficient registration at the weighbridge stations, as well as effective strategies to prevent trucking companies from overloading their vehicles.
We are going to intensify on the axle load control. Before we had a problem because the East African countries had different standards but now we have agreed. The East African Legislative Assembly is going to get a common law for the community, and then we shall domesticate them here. The old law, apart from having different standards, was not punitive enough. We intend to decriminalize the offense. The minister will be just issuing statutory instruments saying how much people will pay, and on the spot. We want to get out to the court to decriminalize the issue so that it becomes punitive and done on the spot.
Road safety has become a cause for concern in Uganda. The fatality rate per 10,000 vehicles in Uganda is one of the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. Last year, the fatality rate from road accidents was 46.5 per 10,000 vehicles, the highest since 1997.
The ministry is working very hard to ensure that we form the National Road Safety Agency. This is an agency which will focus fully on the road safety. We hope this will work because this agency will be in a position to coordinate the responsible stakeholders in this. Ministry of Works, we have the engineering aspect. There's Ministry of Education to educate the people, the children in particular. The Ministry of Internal Affairs for enforcement, Ministry of Health, attending to accident, sports and victims. So we hope that the formation of this agency will go a long way in improving the management of the road safety in our country.
Freight carried on the railway has increased over the last 3 years to a total of 154 million ton-kilometre. On the main railway corridor through Malaba, rail transport accounts for around 9% of all freight, well below the potential of competitive rail transport. Locomotive utilization on the railway has improved recently and now stands at 131 kilometers per day. Wagon transit time stands at 16.2 days and total turnaround time at 27.1 days. Improvements in these measures will aid the capacity of the railway to capture a greater share of freight transport.
We are in discussion with our colleagues in Kenya and Tanzania to see how we can combine and build this line from Malaba, in our case from Malaba to Kampala, Kampala Kasese, then from Tororo to Pakwach, Gulu, and take it up to Nimule. At the same time, the President of Uganda and President of Tanzania met, and they have requested up to put a joint task force of different ministers, Minister of Works and Transport, Minister of Finance, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Minister of East African Community. We are going to work jointly with Tanzania to see that we build the southern route from Tanga, Arusha, Musoma, up to Bukasa, where we want to put a new port.
Total aircraft movement in Uganda were at a 3-year high, and international passenger traffic has increased over the last 5 years. However, domestic passengers transport suffers from lack of competitiveness relative to road. Any increase in the medium term is projected to come from an increase in tourism. Inland water transport in many places is the only means of transport and is a necessity for access. Major waterways, notably Lake Victoria, offer the possibility for competitive transport of passengers and freight between Uganda and neighboring countries. Current capacity problems and problems of service level and security are being addressed by government through improvements in infrastructure and policy.
We should be able to guarantee 3 principal elements of financing, which is key to guaranteeing a good network. One, the funds we shall guarantee adequacy. We shall guarantee that we are receiving adequate funds. We are disbursing adequate funds to the agencies. We shall not be able to guarantee the reliability of the funding. Now, these agencies should receive the fund when they actually need it. When their plans have matured, they are ready for implementation, the road fund should be able to say, yes, tomorrow you will have the funds, and the funds are there on time tomorrow. And then we should also guarantee the timeliness so that they can also make long-term plans.
Actually now, people traveling up country on roads like Soroti Dokolo, on roads like Kampala to Kafu, roads like Kampala to Mbarara, roads like Kabale Kisoro, roads like Jinja Bugiri will testify that UNRA has made major inroads in the last 3 years.
Government has been good to us. They do give us a lot of money in the sector, though it's not enough, but we are very appreciative. With the increased effectiveness and accountability, even our development partners will give us more money to see that things can move on very well. So I'm going to insist on quality work, done on time, good designs, so that and the selection of contractors also is going to be a big issue. We want to ensure that we get the best contractors to give us the best product.